promise. Oh mate, why does this do this to me? Technology is my favourite friend. I'm manifesting the spirit that you are now my favourite friend. Okay, so I'm gonna say to my, 'cause honestly, um, I just wanna see you all, and again, it's just a good thing. So again, let's see where we get to from today. Okay. Oh mate, why is this not even inside dashboard? Does anybody know how to work these things? I just want to see. I just want to see. I just want to see your comments. That's all. All I'm asking for. And you know what? Why is it even coming up on? Oh, comments. Let's see comments. Come on, please. It always seems to do this, doesn't it, to me? It just thinks, do you know what, guys? Hello, Jenny. Right, okay. So we've kind of like starting to see something here, which is comments, which is fantastic. How I'm seeing this, I don't know. Hello, Cara. How you doing, darling? You all right? Thank you so much. I don't know if you are seeing like words across, but it kind of like makes me giggle. Okay, so I'm working on a laptop, and one of the things was is when we were working on this laptop was we were trying to set up on hello, Steve. We was trying to set up on the green screen, okay, which was absolutely fantastic until Wi-Fi decided, or the internet, or Facebook, or whatever it is, decided that it wasn't going to let us. So we thought, well, we're going to pop on anyway, and I'm going to have a little bit of a chat with you, okay? Because the one thing is that I don't know if any of you have been doing any self-reflection, okay? And I think it's perfectly good to sit, but again, sometimes it can be a little bit too deep, okay? Just bear with me. Hello, Carol. Hi, Trish. You all right? Hi, Heather. You all right? Lovely. Thank you so much. Steve, if you could really help me about why I just want to see these comments and see myself. Well, I'm not really mad about seeing me, but this computer will not play. It just won't play. So let's hope that we can get to see your comments, and I'll just see where we're going up. So yeah, absolutely. So we've got quite a few of you online at the moment, and I'm sure everyone else will be joining in, so it's going to be brilliant. It just says my PC is now being slowed. A little bit like me. So so thank you so much to every single one of you that's joined. I'm still trying to get used to this laptop thing, so let's see where we're going. Why does it never come up with, why does it never happen? And you're all going to start messing off, aren't you? Aquarium's supposed to be good with technology. I'm not too bad with technology, Paula, but the one thing is that sometimes when you're learning new things, it takes me a while to understand it. So I don't mind technology that bad, but yeah, I completely understand, and I'm laughing with you at this moment. So while we was doing this, that we talk about self-reflection, and at this moment you mostly see that I'm also trying to play with my phone at the same time, because the one thing is that I started to do some research about being spiritual. Okay, so again, I'm having faith. I'm always having faith, D. Honestly, I'm always having faith. The one thing is on my laptop, all that's happening at the moment is I can only see the comments, so I can't see me. But that's not a bad thing, really, is it? Sometimes. But I really wanted to help, and with that self-reflection. So if you've been sat there, again, obviously we're in Saturn at the moment, retrograde. Maybe this is my karma. I don't know. But so I was doing my research, as you say, and I'd like to add that really this research I've been delving deeper and doing some deep diving, because again, as an indigo child or an indigo adult, we all are, or majority of us are, we start to understand. So I want to really thank Thrive Talk for allowing me to work with them and do this research. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to understand and explain what an indigo means to me, because the way that we are all affected deeply within, if that makes sense. Hi, all right, Diane. Hi, Christine. Hi, Alicia. And if any of this resonates with you, then absolutely perfect. Okay. So again, there's quite a bit to go through, but please stick with me, and we're going to see where this goes. So again, bringing your beautiful comments on, really positive comments. And again, if you want to like and share, absolutely perfect. Just to remind, we do meditation tomorrow as well. Okay, so just get that out of the way. So even in the present day, we come across people who are very close-minded and very judgmental, and I completely understand that, because again, that's the physical waking life. I'm not saying that everyone is closed-minded, but again, when it comes to being spiritual, a lot of people want, in essence, when we talk about spirit, or again the divine, or the cosmos, that they want to see, in essence, their uncle or their auntie or mum and dad to completely manifest in front of them, for them to believe, if that makes sense. And they want proof about the afterlife and basically this is happening. So again, though many of us are called spiritual, we have a knowing that, deeper within us, that home is back in spirit. And that's just the experience with so many lessons that are quite harsh. The stream keeps cutting out briefly. Thanks, Stephen. Thanks for letting me know. But in essence, I've sometimes, don't get me wrong, but I'm getting bored of the way that people judge us all about being spiritual, because again, it's a terminology, and there are so many different belief systems out there. But again, the way that people feel that we should be acting. Okay, so again, to be honest, like saying, I love the terminology spiritual, but sometimes it kind of like, I don't like the stigma of it, if that makes sense. I understand that I'm supposed to be a man of peace, or you are supposed to be a female, or again, any gender that you choose. But there are always expectations, like we're not supposed to cuss or swear, or or even lose our shit. Is anybody actually thinking of, what I'm saying at this moment in time? Do you feel that's quite true, that again, that as being a spiritual being, that you are not supposed to act this way? I'd really appreciate your comments, just what we're talking about, so we can take this through slowly, if that makes sense. But while we wait for this also, being spiritual really does excite me also. Hi Hayley, alright, lovely. But again, it really does excite me in other ways, because I enjoy the calmness, I enjoy the peace, I enjoy the practice of meditation, crystals, and many other interests that help me to feel, especially when I'm working, for the best version of myself. So again, if anyone feels that you want to comment, and again, the way that this makes you feel, please, let us know, because it's important as well. So again, but most of all, I love is about being a healer, and again, helping others, healing, and especially guidance. And that's one thing about the indigo, is obviously, especially the Aquarians, we're all the truth seekers. We're the ones that obviously bring that beautiful guidance, and again, we're not going to blow smoke up people's arse. But again, as 51 years of age on this earth plane, as an age, again, I've truly suffered deeply too, but there are so many life skills and so many lessons and everything that we've learned, that we start to understand it on a deeper conscious level. Is anyone getting this? Because I'm sorry, I'm really not getting any comments coming through. I'm just like, oh, Brill, this is fantastic. But I'll carry on until obviously, you feel that you may want to step in. But still, from this perspective, people still expect me, and again you, to act a certain way. So again, if people, when people meet me and they say, I understand obviously during my life sometimes, or even the events where I swear, and sometimes, I get a little bit excited, and they say, oh, I thought you were supposed to be spiritual. So again, it's starting to narrow down this this terminology of being spiritual, because these expectations of how we're supposed to act in this physical world, by especially when we're supposed to check in. I mean, you understand obviously when we work in the chakra system that, you know, that we're working at a higher vibration, which is absolutely perfect, and that's what's supposed to happen. But the one thing is we're also reminded that we're also living a physical life as well, and an experience, and this is what it's all about. So we're supposed to check in. I'm just going to just double check and make sure, obviously, because again, it just seems that there doesn't seem to be a lot of comments coming through, and you possibly will, but I'm also getting notifications as well. So again, please just bear with me. I'm just going to knock off there and just have a look on here and just say I'm sorry, because again, while this is working, I'm just trying to see where we're gauging this, if that makes sense. So I've got a live chat, and again, okay, everyone's just saying hello, so that's perfectly fine. So everyone's just kicking in and saying perfect. All right, so I'm just gonna crack on, okay, because again, I'm happy talking to myself anyway. But again, these expectations of what we just spoke about really sadden me as an indigo, and I'll always be who I want to be, if that makes sense. Thank you so much, Dan Will. To think, come to your ears, I felt so much calmer in myself, happy with everything. Thank you. So again, I understand that, and that's really, really kind of you, but I really need for you to talk about your expectations, about how you feel about how people should be that you meet that are spiritual. What is your take on how we're supposed to act? I'm not asking you to judge us, and I don't think you would, but what I'm asking for is, what is your expectations? Because, you know, with working and living this physical experience, you know, I'm just kind of like, I'm just really, really interested. So again, the one thing is that what saddens me as an indigo is I'll always be or want to be, and not who other people feel that I want to be. Again, when we start to work on ourselves on a deeper level, we start to understand that we understand to be calm. And that's beautiful, again, when we're making those decisions and things like that. But listen, I'm not being difficult with this, you know, but I really will always stand in my own power and my own truth. And again, like I said before, all indigos are truth seekers, so we won't necessarily blow smoke up your arse to make yourself feel better. I understand empaths, and again, because obviously I'm an empath myself, and again, understanding healing, and I understand about, you know, our feelings, and, you know, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual. So again, for me, I believe that everyone's born an individual, and it's up to everyone to have an identity. And again, sorry, Heather's just put, Christine's put, I think people should be themselves, spiritual or not. Perfect. Thank you, Christine. Heather, I feel the same. I've had a negative feedback when doing my live, but at the end of the day, I'm doing me and always being true to myself. And that's the most important thing in it, about standing in your power. So again, when we're being an individual, it's, again, everyone's having an individuality, and you know, whatever belief system that you have is yours. I understand on the earth plane that, you know, there are so many beliefs. I mean, there are religions, and again, I completely understand that. And the one thing is, everyone's striving to be the best version, and it doesn't matter if you want to, no disrespect, if you want to, I don't know, when you work into divine light, again, it's a case of, if you want to wear robes, if you want to grow a beard for the males, obviously, again, the divine masculine or divine feminine as well. But obviously, with minus the beard, I'm not being judgmental there. But the one thing is, you can see where I'm coming from. It's up to you. And the one thing is, for me, when I started to be on this spiritual journey, is I always wanted to be me. I didn't want to be someone I wasn't. I didn't want to take on the one thing that everyone else was, if that makes sense. I wanted to choose. And I think, obviously, with doing this, and, you know, again, I know I do a lot of swearing. I'm doing really well in this life because I'm actually conscious that I'm not actually swearing, so I'm kind of like really well, apart from I said the word arse. But the one thing is like saying, you know, just being real, because there are people who are awakening who need to connect with, you know, with certain types of people, and then there are other people who want to connect on the divine, and I absolutely love that. So again, if I find that people find me offensive, then, you know, maybe just people need to take the crown chakra out of the root chakra. Yeah. So again, during these times, obviously, like I say, when you see me live, or again, if you come for healing, or again, if you see me on the events, that again, definitely taking, your crown chakra or your root chakra, or in a spiritual sense, or on a physical plane, it's take your head out your arse. Okay? So the one thing is, if you believe that we shouldn't swear or cuss, and again, then obviously this could be affecting your own, your own chakras. And the one thing is that my throat chakra is very, very open, and it's vibrating, and it's got a good frequency. And again, so I really, really enjoy about this. So again, if people feel that the one thing that that we're talking about, then we understand that obviously maybe there are people that need to do or understand and learn about themselves to do some deeper shadow work, or even inner child work as well. Sorry, Joanne Shelby-Shaw said, I think you should lead life on a spiritual path. You need to be conjuring, or as anything else would mess be in connection with vibration. Absolutely. And everyone has it. I love that, because everyone has a vibration, don't they? Everyone has a frequency. And the one thing is, especially when spirit are connecting with us, again, the ringing in the ears, or again, the coldness around us, that we start to understand, obviously, that they are connecting with us to help us with that vibration. And again, it's nice to obviously be where we are. So I'm going to go into this little bit of research that we find, and hopefully, you'll be able to identify. And if you can, absolutely fantastic. If you feel that you can take something, especially as an indigo, then absolutely fantastic. But like I said, it's not all my work. I've done research. It's very rare for me to read a book. It's very rare to me to go into research. It really is. But I really felt that I wanted to deliver this in the right way. Okay? So everyone is raised differently, and that's what makes us different. But we are not really that different when we all open our minds. I understand that people are closed-minded and think that obviously that we are all fucking nutters, okay, eccentric weirdos or everything, and I completely understand that, because again, they're not ready at this time, okay. So being an indigo adult, I will listen to other people's opinions, and I'm sure that you'll listen to other people's opinions too. But I'm not going to sit here and dictate, and possibly and people will just switch off. But indigos were born to, weren't supposed to comply with all the bullshit that's going on this earth plane, okay? And again, everything that's pushed out into the mainstream. Now, I understand obviously that social media and the news and everything, and we hear so much of, so many travesties that's happening out there. But again, obviously, we've just gone through a pandemic, and everyone that obviously through the pandemic was, sadly, it formed, and what they wanted to do was divide and conquer. And I completely understand that. And listen, I'm not going to conform, and there's parts of it that's real, and there's parts that's not. And unfortunately, everyone started to understand that, that what they've gone through, with all the lies that's come out, there you go. But I'm not going to go completely on about that, because again, I don't want a fucking massive debate about it. But again, in certain civilizations, there are belief systems that state that we, as indigos or spiritual, must act in a certain way. For me, other people sometimes misunderstand our beliefs. However, if you have courage to stand strong and follow your own desires, you can overcome any objects with clashing heads. And that's the most important thing. And obviously, we're going to go into a little bit. Thanks, Jenny, for that. Hello, Jonathan, by the way. So again, we're going to go into, obviously, with empaths and things like that. But again, for me personally as an indigo, and I'm sure a lot of people will go and understand that we're not going to comply. Again, we'll make our own way in this dimension in 4D, okay? And the one thing is, I'm happy to see, sense, feel, taste, but I'm not going to believe the rules that were made by the ones holding the ego, if that makes sense. You see, rules were put into place, and the wave of Pisces, this is not anything against Piscean people, by the way. So again, but again, with this research and understanding on a deeper level, that on the wave of Pisces, there became all the rules. Okay, when the age of Aquarius came, then obviously we were the rule breakers and saying, this is a load of shit, you're destroying the earth, you're destroying each other, you're turning everyone against each other, people are killing each other, people are becoming what's that terminology? I had it in my mind before. I'll think about it. But again, do you know, what's that terminology? I don't know. When we are, do you know when it's on the tip of your tongue and you just can't remember what you say, what it was? It'll come to me anyway. But we'll go into it anyway. But again, to be honest, everyone was supposed to conform in the age of Pisces, and again, everyone started to plug into the matrix and start to believe everything that was going on. I completely understand it. People live in fear and sadness, and again, the belief system, everything they were pushing through. But this is the age of Aquarius. We're still in the age of Aquarius, where we're saying, no, this needs to stop. Yeah, because the one thing is that, we don't, everyone has a right. Everyone has a right. We understand that, obviously, even to this day, that people, not only obviously we're trafficking animals, but people are still being trafficked. The animals are still being hunted down for all their, for all their beautiful, whether it be the elephants with the ivory, or absolutely all the skins. And you know what? It's just a big fucking no. But the one thing is that there are people still willing to accept that and go through this, whereas we're all like, listen, this needs to fucking stop. Recently, obviously, I've been around turtles, and again, obviously understanding turtles, and again, even a plastic bag, the plastic that's going around at this moment, it's kind of like, one floats in the ocean, and that beautiful turtle thinks it's a jellyfish, and eats it and suffocates and dies. We need to be more proactive with the environment more than anything. Again, because the one thing, like you say, everyone's plugged into the matrix. Fuck it, we'll just do it this way and all that what. And again, people believe the bullshit that the governments are hiding. So again, we have to make sure, as indigos, as healers, that we start to be more proactive. We're looking after ourselves, we're looking after other people as well, because we don't want people to suffer. And that's the most important things about, we don't want people to suffer, but also we have to remind ourselves we're on this beautiful earth plane and Mother Earth is suffering too. Not only that, obviously we've got, the polar caps, eventually they're going to go, and there are magnets, if that makes sense, that help us, and eventually, Earth is going to be consumed, do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's okay giving money to these places. I completely understand it, giving money, and it's beautiful, and but again, it's all being swamped different ways, because again, the ego and those that are obviously the fucking reptilians feel that it's okay to keep. Sorry, I've gone on a bit of a tangent, but hey, that's passion, and that's being an indigo. Okay, so why are some people named or self-identify as an indigo? I'm going to go back onto this, right? And these are people who have an innate sense of understanding spirituality from birth. And you see, one thing is, parents or caregivers often recognise indigos when they're young, okay? So again, indigo adults are sensitive intuitively. So again, if you feel that you are very sensitive, intuitive, lively, loving, and even intelligent and curious, I'm sure that with that what I just named, you all nine would obviously understand that, and obviously think, absolutely, yeah, that's me, because that's who you are. Obviously, we're all connected on a conscious level. And again, we're all often driven to make a positive change, because that's who we are. And again, we have to change things that are on the earth plane, okay? And even though we seem to be different, indigo adults and even children are okay with this. And a lot of us are happy to live outside the box, i.e. when we become spiritual, as to speak, we're going outside the box, because during this time that we're understanding that there's something bigger and better. So many people have spiritual awakenings, so many people have a spiritual crisis. This is often sometimes when they look up out there, they go out, when they're looking, sorry, I'm working with my throat chakra, so I'm going to put some more water in a minute to cool it off. But again, they look out the window or they go at the back door and they look up at the stars and they think there must be something more to this. And that's the most important thing, when we start to understand that there is something more. Sorry, I'm just going to pop on because I don't want to ignore you, Zara. Hi, Gary. I have no expectations of people who describe themselves as spiritual. If someone is offended by swearing, then that's up to them. They have a choice as to whether to watch or not. Don't stop being you. Thank you, Sarah. It really means a lot, because the one thing is that just before I go back, there was a time when I was doing a live and I had someone who was spiritual who said that every time I swore that I hurt her solar plexus. Okay, I completely understand that. Yeah, but again, maybe go in, like I say, do a little bit of shadow work. Sorry. So what does the term indigo refer to? And this is the belief again. And you'll find that a lot of healers, again on here, will understand that the aura colour of the indigo is of royal blue or indigo. And again, normally when we close our eyes and we see a lot of purple, then we actually start to understand within the aura field. Okay, this is the same colour as the third eye chakra. Again, but also again when we start to work into the violet, so we start to work into the 6th or 7th chakra, and this chakra is to represent consciousness and wisdom. Okay, and the connections to the spirit realm. The description of indigo, people, is not new. The use of this term began with children in the beginning of this so-called the New Age. Okay, and this started in the New Age of the 1960s and the 1970s. So again, anyone born in the 60s and 70s, you were possibly born as an indigo child. This, again, we can go a little bit deeper as we start to understand. But again, this was a revolutionary period for the Western side societies. And the result was a shift of spirituality and consciousness, but again, taken away from mainstream belief systems. Okay, children will always identify as indigo during that period, and these people are now in their adults, in their 40s or possibly even 50s. Also, indigo denotes connections to Archangel Michael. Okay. Do me a favour, Rita. Can you just elaborate on that for me a little bit more before we go into it? It's a lovely comment. I just love you if you could just elaborate on it for me. Okay. You see, a resurgence of the use of the term then started to apply again in the 1980s and the 1990s, and a new generation started to begin, which started to explore spirituality, and with the context was quite alternative belief systems. And again, we started to embrace beliefs around reincarnation towards the Eastern religions, along with the reclamation of intuitive knowledge from older European belief systems, like I said. So other terms, again, obviously, hopefully we'll wait back from Rita. Other terms emerging this period were crystal children, but also rainbow children. And they were known as the crystal children, again, obviously adults, a generation born from the indigos, okay, so if that makes sense. So again, so they started to form the terminology of starseed, which refers to people, I believe, that have been reincarnated many, many times, and, you know, basically old souls. And these children are possibly in their 20s or 30s. And this is one thing when we start to understand, when we have our children, and you feel that they've been here before. How many times have you've said, God, you know, my child, I really feel like he or she has been here before. But the one thing is, but so have you. And again, when we reincarnate, you know, the reincarnation, and we start to be, you know, we start to have the experience again and again, and because again, these come with lessons that we have not learned. And again, the one thing is when we are reincarnated back into the physical body that you are at this moment, you will find that also from your previous life or your previous journey, that there are things that you didn't learn that you need to deal with also, if that makes sense to you. So indigo children and indigo adults may receive diagnosis, okay, again in the mainstream health systems. And again, one of those is ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Okay, this is something, but I like to call it attention deficit higher dimension. I know it's kind of thing, and people are like, oh, no, I really like that, and I think it's brilliant. But again, we are all to fall into the autism spectrum. Now, personally, I can, and I don't know about you, but again, you can also comment and let me know. But again, with my own actions, or we're working into the spectrum and autism, and obviously with Indigo, personally, I feel like I have a form of ADHD. It's not something I obviously transmit, but it's just something I'm aware of, especially for my own behaviours. And again, please comment. Again, obviously, we know that we've got a lot of comments coming through, so again, it'd be perfect. But again, this is the Western psychological approach towards to negate the individual's spiritual experiences, while the people I work with tell me I'm ADHD. I love it. Listen, to be honest, Claire, see you tomorrow, by the way. That's a definite. But the one thing is, absolutely, again, it's a behaviour, and I understand obviously with the crystals. Now, again, the one thing is, when the crystal children were born, and again, I don't feel like it was lazy parenting. I would never say anything like that. But sometimes when people are trying to understand themselves, and then we have our children, we're trying to help our children understand, and sometimes we lose our way. Okay, it's as simple as that. So again, it's more of a pathological approach to mental health and well-being rather than a psychological problem. But here's a big word for you, social anthropologists put it into a more cultural context. That is people's acceptance of similar personality traits to do with their belief systems. I feel that's quite a strong statement to make, especially because we start, that everyone has these belief systems, and the one thing is, this approach suggests the concepts of Indigo children may be within the realms of a new religious movement. Now, the one thing is, you'll always find that a lot of Indigos don't join cults, no disrespect, or again, have this understanding, they have a beautiful and respectful understanding of the religious phenomenon, but again, don't take this on, if that makes sense. And there are many characteristics to the Indigo adult and the Indigo children, and there's no formal psychological test or assessment. I understand we go to the doctors and we say, can you test my child for to be on whether he or she is autistic or has ADHD. So again, that's, and again, respectful. Sorry if that's like, so hang on a minute. Sorry, we've just got a little bit of comments I just want to go in before we start to go into the traits. So the angels, if you believe in those, are connected to different colours. Oh, hang on a minute, it's just popped back a minute. Sorry, Rita, I'm just gonna go into there. But clearly the angelic spectrum of colours is much broader than we have knowledge of. Actually, Archangel Michael is more royal blue indigo. When people use the cloak of Archangel Michael for protection, it's bringing in that colour, and that is so true. And again, obviously, we're working with Archangel Michael with the beautiful cloak of blue, and again with that protection, so true. This is why, believe it or not, and I'm going to make a finger, I used to like Man United, okay? I kind of still do. And I understand, obviously, that there's Man City in there. I'm not bringing football into this. But the one thing is that I love wearing a lot of blue or a lot of indigo. It's just something that I feel really comfortable in, if that makes sense. So, it's not long-winded, Rita, at all. Thank you so much, because it really is, because this is what we do. We connect with the archangels. We connect because, again, they communicate with us in the vibration or frequency of light. And again, when we are all, when we're all not only indigos, but again, when we're helping other people, we are the light workers. So we can start to, wake people up and move them forward out of their deep sleep. Again, taking them out of the matrix. And I'm sorry to use the thing with Neo, and obviously, everything goes on. But there's, in essence, there's truth. There's truth in everything. Okay, so it's perfectly fine. So thank you, Rita. Means so much. Diane, when I first came to you for reading, I think it was, and I heard you swear, I thought, wow, someone like me. And that's the thing in it. It's about connecting with other people that are like-minded. And again, thank you so much, Diane. And I love that, do you know what I mean? Because I'd rather be real, but again, and I get so many beautiful people on here that have life experience can also connect with other people who are saying, I've been through that. I've been through that and I can understand it, and this is how I work my way through it, if that makes sense. Lynn Jane Burke says, I was told as a spirit fair I'm an indigo and I have an autism trait, and I'm always clashing with my daughter who has autism, and I feel I've always been different. So you understand, Lynn, that as you as an indigo, and then obviously again with your daughter also being an indigo, so again it's just bringing that alignment and that balance to you both. Completely understand that as well, do you know what I mean? Because again, you know, once we get that deeper understanding, again you'll start, like I said, you'll find that flow more than anything. So let's just keep moving forward a little bit, if that's okay. So there's no formal test, like I said, or an assessment. However, if you feel that you self-identify with these traits, then obviously again, please comment. So spirituality, right? Okay, indigo adults and indigo children usually have an innate sense of spirituality through their life, like we've said. But also, they have these beautiful gifts. Or, sorry, we have these beautiful gifts, yeah? In a special or creative and sometimes intellectual sense, okay? So, particularly when born to a non-spiritual home, how many people feel that they were born to a non-spiritual home? Again, no disrespect to our parents, our brothers, our sisters, again, but when we start to understand that, again, there is a need, yeah, to try and help them and help to wake them up, yeah, if that makes sense. Sometimes we are classed as the gifted, you know, we are the special one, again. So again, there you go, Christine, she's, you know, Christine is also resonating with you on that, Lynn, so that's absolutely perfect. So again, while we're in this, again, yeah, absolutely fantastic. So if there's anyone else, thank you, Heather, for jumping in there. I'll continue this obviously once, if anyone else wants to comment. So I'm just going to take on some more water, and also I'm burning a lot of incense as well. I've got my candles on. Okay, perfect. So I'm sorry if I miss any comments, I will come back to them once obviously we've finished this live, okay? I'm sorry obviously because my computer's not, you know, it's doing a wonderful job and I'm very positive about it, but I just wish it'd allow a little bit more. So imagine you're born into this home and you know there are other people that are gifted, and the one thing is we start to go in this family remit and we may be bullied or even ridiculed, okay? I'm not saying to a bully to a bad sense, but again, obviously we understand that people take the piss, or our brothers and sisters take the piss, and I completely understand that, but sometimes we lose sight of that as well, don't we? Because eventually we start to lose this connection with them all, okay? But again, one thing that the indigo child will always do is start to suppress. So again, if you understand that the indigo child will, is what we do is we suppress everything, because obviously the way that people make us feel, yeah, and that's the one thing later on in life where I've stopped giving a fuck, yeah, sorry, but that's just me. It's just like you want to do that, I'll cut you fucking dead. It's as simple as that. I'm not asked, yeah. If you feel that you want to judge me in that way, then that's your choice. But again, just be in the knowledge. Again, indigo stand in their power more than anything. Because again, indigo people are acutely and psychically aware of other spiritual realms and dimension as we start to evolve, and they often feel directly connected with them. So again, we start to bring in the practice, whether it be like grounding, attune, protecting, or whether we start to, you know, work with our crystals, whether obviously we start to work more psychically or clairvoyantly, you know, so many different ways. My dad was spiritual, but don't think mum was. And again, the one thing is that if dad was aware, Christine, so again, obviously that works with you, if that makes sense. So again, if mum wasn't, then obviously there was something on her generational curse that obviously that she was trying to do, if that makes sense. So when particularly raised in an environment where there's an acceptance of belief, again, we all start to bring our children forward now and start saying it's okay to be different. It's okay to understand and feel this way. And these beliefs connect others and help an awakening as a spiritual awakening. So indigos as wisdom. So people say that wisdom comes from age. Sorry. And experience. Yeah, I kind of feel that. Yeah, absolutely. Because again, we go through so many different scenarios, whether it be, sadly, whether it be marriage and divorce, relationships, jobs, the way that we've been bullied, especially at school, and you'll find a lot of indigos have been bullied from school. You know, narcissism, yeah, there are so many, and obviously we could list them all, but the one thing is that it's, you know, it can be quite traumatic, but again, the one thing we learn is about the wisdom from it all, and this is where we're able to express ourselves on a deeper level, where we're saying, I can resonate with you because I've been that. And I feel that a lot of indigos are always put into these scenarios so they can understand, obviously, as we move forward. And especially, obviously, you find that a lot of indigos go into the field of caring. So again, whether it be in care homes, hospitals, or even into the holistic sector. So again, but when it comes from this experience of indigo adults, again, sometimes we are older than our years, okay? So, especially, you know, but especially when we were children, we were always quite aware, if that makes sense, but again, suppressed at the same time. So some people say wisdom and love in the indigo people have a result of experience reincarnations on this planet. And I'm sure, obviously, there's a lot of you out there that are always starting to work now with beautiful unconditional love and hoping in that gorgeous heart chakra of yours. And again, because we need this, especially because it's a center point for me in the chakra system. So again, we're working with unconditional love, because to work with unconditional love means we're working with the, you know, the best version of ourselves. But again, you know, the one thing is when we start to understand ourselves on a deeper level, you know, and especially with reincarnations, that we can understand that we can incarnate and get, or you know, work with other realms or astral traveling, especially on a spiritual level. So again, if you feel that you can astral travel, then this is the reason why. It's because as an indigo, as a spiritual being, you're able to do this under control. And also you do this because obviously we're able to. Don't get me wrong, there are people that are asleep that can also do this, but they're not aware that they're awake, if that makes sense. And sometimes they feel lost and alone, and they want to join with, you know, with other people and find other people. Because again, being spiritual, you just don't wake up one day and go, do you know what, I'm going to be a fucking weirdo today. I'm going to be so crazy. That, you know what I mean? And even go completely eccentric. You know, because one thing, like I say, something inside of the soul that they stop insulting themselves and start to realise that there's something more. Because again, people have a deathbed crisis. And again, that's, for me, that's too late to understand about the regrets. This is why, again, when people get, you know, roughly have a midlife crisis, because of one thing, they're starting to realise that shit's starting to happen and there's not much long left. Whereas, you know what I mean? So again, obviously, you know, I know that obviously people sadly pass earlier than this, but again, we're talking on that beautiful spiritual self. So again, the one thing you'll always find that indigos always have that uncanny psychic ability. Again, the awareness around us is absolutely massive. We understand, and the one thing is that what we love as empaths is we have this detector. Does anybody know what that detector is? Answers on the back of a postcard, please. Oop, can't even get my fucking drink in my mouth. No? Okay, just in case. It's a bullshit detector. Yeah? Have you ever noticed as an indigo that, again, that you'll be talking to someone and you're thinking, yeah, absolutely, Jill Penny, you've got it. You must have typed it, and I know there's a bit of a delay, right? Yeah. So this is a bullshit detector that you'll be talking to someone and you think, you're fucking lying to me. Why are you lying to me? To make yourself feel better, or you make yourself look better? Because that doesn't impress me. Yeah, that doesn't impress me. Shit detector. Shannon saying a bullshit detector. I love it. But that's what I'm saying, and I'm sure the people won't impress you, because the one thing is truth is massive. If you are a true seeker, again, no matter what goes on your journey, as long as you tell the truth, then the one thing is that, there's nothing coming back. Truth will always flow from the throat chakra. Yeah? Lies start to come from, again, on the lower vibe, and then the one thing is it comes out a little bit croaky, or they start to try to understand themselves. So again, you'll find that the indigo children or adults are often very intuitive, yeah, working in the awareness, yeah, and again start to understand. There you go, absolutely. Christine, you can tell when people's lying. So again, the awareness, and also those that can do the aura reading, and again, if you're able to see a lot of violet or purple in the third eye, you'll start to understand that that you can also start to see this, and when when colour starts to surround that person's aura, it starts to shift. Yeah, so again, if there's a lot of aura that starts to shift from the left hand side, then obviously, sometimes if they're telling truth, the aura will surround completely. Yeah, I love aura reading. I think it's brilliant. I can catch a lot of people out with it. It's brilliant. Whereas obviously sometimes it'll go to the left and they're really thinking about it, but again being intuitive with it of what they're there. But again, when it comes to the right, that obviously the cogs are turning to bring something up. You can even tell when I'm lying to myself. Well, listen, it's just one of those things. But the one thing is that have you, as an indigo, have you ever noticed that your children are starting to talk about their own experiences like they've been here before? There was a wonderful documentary, I think it was called Afterlife or something. I seen it once, I can't remember the name of it. And it was about a little boy who'd been reincarnated. And I think I can't remember the actual truth, the real story or the facts. So I kind of like give you my little bit. You look like you're being dubbed anyway. Anyone else see that, or is it my iPad? Possibly your iPad. So anyway, I think he was killed by his husband. If memory recalls it, sorry, it was cut. Fucking hell. That's ground. Take a breath, guys. Okay, absolutely. Okay, so this little boy, okay, in his previous life he was a little boy and he was killed by his uncle. And the one thing is that in his new life he told his mummy that he can't wait to see his mummy. And she said, "No, I'm your mummy." And she went, "No, my mummy in my previous life." And they took him to a psychologist and everything like that. And the one thing is he actually picked out where he lived, what park he played in, what school he went to, and his parents. And it was just like, absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It's life after death. If that's what it's called, Rita, thank you. If that's what it's called, yeah, it's called life after death. I thought it was called reincarnation, but to be absolutely honest, it's a long time since I've seen it, and this is the truth. I don't have a lot of memory. A bit like my people feel from them. I love this again because this is what I'm saying. We're working from the indigo. I was brought up going to church and Sunday school all my life till I left for a while, then gradually going back now every now and again. Has this guided me to having a strong interest in the spiritual world? It is a magical, lovely place for me, Gary. And that's the one thing, isn't it? Again, I love, obviously, that, and respectfully, you've been going to church, and again, you've been learning. And again, the one thing is about whether it's about Jesus Christ or, again, what these belief systems. Sometimes we understand, Diane, that you want to learn more. You feel that there's more. Do you know what I mean? It's like with Reiki, Dr. Mikhail Yusu was asked a question, if Jesus Christ was a natural healer, were we all not born healers? And this is what I'm saying. We all go out there and we do our research and we start to understand, because sometimes we just want answers. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes, it's good to do. So yeah, it is why you are very interested in the spiritual world. Again, you can call yourself spiritual if you want, or you can just call it saying this is your experience. It's as simple as that. Yeah? Rita says, I've watched it like 100 times. The reincarnation episode is the last one. Perfect. So again, they're absolutely brilliant. Honestly, I only ever watched that one, Rita. But it's just one of those things, isn't it? I never watched any others, but to be honest, I'm not massive on watching the TV. I'm sorry. I may go and watch a little bit now and again of this, but I won't watch the news. Can't stand the fucking news. Sorry, it's just like, oh god. Do you know what I mean? Even like, I don't even have news apps or anything like that on my phone. I just don't watch it. In fact, no, I won't even say what I was going to say because I asked Danny, but this is, I didn't realise because maybe it feels like I am being inconsiderate, so I will leave that. So we'll blow that away and forget about it. So again, these experiences that they've been here before, you know, as an indigo, we'll just know that something is right or wrong, and maybe there's something that's just right round this corner. And indigos, like I said, you know, will see people for, you know, bad energy. You know, it's a psychic way of knowing and feeling that comes naturally and has always been being sensitive. And indigo souls are usually psychically sensitive to other people and their surroundings, like we spoke about before. And they have these physical sensitivities as well. So again, when we're working in the aura field, not only are we working with the awareness, but also then you've got the psychic field as well. So again, we stretch out first of all, and then we start to ask the questions. Does that make sense? So energy emotions may run high during your time on this earth plane, especially as an indigo. They run very high and also very low. And depression is very common with indigo people during their time, especially when they're growing, to be pushed or even dumbed down to the point of wanting to return home sooner rather than later. And again, obviously, you know, in essence, I can resonate, and I'm sure a lot of people will watching this will also resonate again, because sometimes we just feel that it's too much. But the one thing is that Spirit won't let us back anyway, because they say, no, off you go and sort this. Get through that experience. You were supposed to live this life, if that makes sense. Rita says, sorry, it's called Surviving Death, and she's put the link on it as well. Thanks a lot, honestly, Rita. You've been an Earth Angel tonight. Well, you are an Earth Angel, but thank you so much for helping during this time. So again, you know, this depression, this dark night of the soul that we go through, these experiences that are very traumatic, again, having a crisis, and you know what, you're allowed to have them, but you know, it's about standing back up, you know what I mean, and understanding what the fuck is going on, the people that have made you feel this way, and what you're going to do to change that, if that makes sense. But this doesn't just happen during depression, this is during your physical waking life of experience also. So again, you know, because it runs deep to the, but again, we'll always try and keep our hearts open, if that makes sense. You see, indigo children, like I said, may be extra sensitive to certain foods. So again, something that you feel that certain foods make you feel quite, you know, I don't know, make you feel like a little bit, or make you feel quite high, or quite make you feel normal. Normal? Is there any fucking such thing as normal? So again, the one thing is that if you actually understand when you're working with the chakra system, that there are foods that are the same colour as, you know, the chakra systems with it. Obviously, you know, you've got your reds for tomatoes or your green for lettuce. I'd like to see something fucking blue like, or purple. Oh, lettuce. You can get purple lettuce, can't you? Anything, can anyone see a food that's blue? I'm trying to think of a blue food. Is anyone? Orange. Orange is oranges. Yellow's bananas. Green's are limes. Blue. Anyone? I'm kind of like, yeah. Anyone? Blue food. I'd love to know if there's a blue food. Anyone? Blue food? I bet you're all fucking Googling now, aren't you? Here we go. Do you know what? Do you know what? I was going to try and scroll on my fucking computer, but I have to use that mouse thing. Hang on. Here we go. So this is blueberries. Fucking hell. Do you know what? I was thinking, okay, right. Purple aubergine. Okay. I love that. Okay. Blueberries. Okay, I'll give you that. Blue cheese. Shoot me fucking down now, alright. Do you know what? I was thinking like something. Wouldn't that be like mouldy bread? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes that's what I'm saying. Sometimes trying to contain things and doing this at the same time. I love it because everyone's putting comments in, and it's brilliant. So listen, it's fantastic, and I am eternally grateful for obviously can join in with me. The terminology I was looking for before about the way that people are treated, and was collateral damage. Thank you, Spirit. They just brought it to me, so I'm really, again, I knew they'd land with it because I've been asking for it, and they sent it to me. So again, yeah, absolutely. So again, not only with these foods, but having strong physical reactions, we may have strong reactions to things like sugars or meats and food additives. You like Smarties. So again, the indigo will also start to understand about this. This is my part, okay. I love that about that, Claire. Blue spirulina is so healthy and makes soups and smoothies blue. Fair play, I'll take that. Thank you. So again, may have issues with electrical or battery powered objects. Even though Aquarium is supposed to be good with this, I do believe that obviously I need to evolve on this side. But again, things may seem to go a little bit haywire. And also, the one thing on the body, okay, so I don't know if anyone's ever had a watch and the watch keeps breaking or it keeps doing what it's supposed to do but a lot quicker. So again, it's a strange time of the mechanicism of appliances, but they go wrong around us. Hey, it's just one of those things. But sometimes during this, this physical experience, that sometimes, even though doing this, it's nice to be out in nature with no technology whatsoever. And I love doing that, when you can just not take your phone or any device and just be, because that's the most important thing, and the spiritual nature to just completely let go and have your time out, okay? So, indigos are also known to feel different from other people. We've already spoke about that. But they've also been very accepting, especially of definitely of their socialisation as children, and obviously the experience in your life as well. You may also understand that you also are very good at coming to terms with and understanding this part where you are a loner, okay? And even though you are in a family remit, yeah, that the one thing is you love spending time on your own. This does not mean I want to get divorced, Danny. I'm just saying, sometimes we like to be on our own, in our own world. But not only that, but also, we are the go-getters, okay? We are the ones that put ourselves into everything. Have you ever noticed how with interest that you are either 100% into it or you are not into it whatsoever? Yeah, and you can just leave it alone. Have you ever noticed that? You are either full on at 150%, absolutely going for it. And the one thing is that please, 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 we won't allow people to stand in our way when we want to achieve it. How many people feel that way? And I'm sure there's going to be quite a few of you. Yes, got a few days on my own and loving it. I do miss my daughter in mind. That's perfectly fine, Christine. But again, like you're saying, we always want to know how things work, and that's what's most in. You see, also, you'll find with a lot of indigos is many will go from job to job. I am. There we go. People are starting to come in. Absolutely. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Claire. Absolutely. But also the one thing is when we start to go from job to job, and obviously until they find their divine purpose, in essence, what's happening is that spirit are moving us nice and easy into position. I like to say I'm a bit of a job slag. I've had many job. I think I always burnt bridges on every single one of them. But to be absolutely honest, and with no excuse, I was a manic depressive, so I didn't give a fuck at that time. And I think obviously when one of my last jobs, I didn't burn any bridges. I left on my own accord because again we started this, which obviously I'm thoroughly grateful for as well, because obviously with this, I also got to meet you all as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So again, a lot of people there can join in, and also that's fantastic because again, we all understand obviously about being in the caring holistically. So indigo adults may also become very upset with people who they see as doing something wrong, especially if it involves harming other people or especially nature. I understand we spoke about this for them. But again, sometimes we may direct our frustration inwards. Again, because we, as spiritual beings, we don't want to hurt anyone. So again, with a deeper learning and understanding and absorbing that sometimes we will fail to express, okay? This is not where you should be going, okay? Because you need to express yourself. Just be in the knowledge that if you don't express, you're going to block up a lot of chakras, okay? So Kristen Keown says, definitely, since I found my ideal job, I moved jobs a lot. I've been in this one 9 years, so that's good. Don't say I've done 10 years, but again, I was all over the place. Before I found my ideal job, but I completely get it. But again, the one thing is that indigos may feel held back if told about their inner visions or awareness of wrong. So again, when we're working this along, but the purpose of the indigo child, more than anything, is to make a change and especially better for the world, and that's most important. With again, and a lot become activists. So again, obviously, or stand up and want to talk about the things and start to make a positive change on this earth plane, and that's what we want to do. Again, we're not to disrespect anyone, we just need to subtly and subliminally help people along the way to wake up and move away from the matrix. So again, as we work as activists or in roles with the capacity to make a social or environmental change, yeah? And it's obviously we start to make it our life mission. So again, how many of you love to do a lot of creativity? This may be drawing or using an instrument, yeah, if that makes sense, being creative, because this is really, really natural. And again, when we start to do this, especially whether we're using a lot of words or a lot of communication to express, but also you'll find that a lot of, believe it or not, a lot of pop stars or musicians are very indigo, because again, they're able to express themselves and get that out, and they feel that challenge to move it forward. So it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sarah and Christine, for that as well. So again, indigo adults tend to be non-linear thinkers as well, but are able to see all sides. So it's good to see other people's sides of the story, because this is what we're supposed to do. When we're told about a story, or if someone wants to tell us about someone, it's always good to see both sides. But sadly, there are people around us that only want to tell the one side, yeah, and won't accept what they've done, if that makes sense. And that's where you start to understand the bullshit detector, yeah? So again, if you feel that you're passionate about tasks, you're going to love it also, and also give your full attention that we spoke to. But again, you will become disengaged if you feel that it just doesn't fit anymore, yeah? If that makes sense. Now, one of the biggest things is facing challenges, and again, they feel, indigos will always feel towards wrongdoings, and again, towards themselves or other people, like we've spoken about pain. And again, their outward expression of love and energy, they do not know, is often reserved with the closest of them. Indigos often trust, and this is one of the biggest things, okay? Indigos often trust everyone and will give 100% when helping others. And when people are used, or you feel used or hurt, we will naturally cut people away. Now, we don't cut people away to be nasty back, because the one thing is that with healing, we find that we send this to them anyway through unconditional love. But the reason why we do this is that we will not allow them back, if that makes sense. If someone does something strong enough to hurt you, yeah, or use you, yeah, and you're aware of it, just be in the knowledge that these people may, because you've cut them off, start to tell bad things about you because the one thing is they cannot feed on you anymore. Just being the knowledge that when things like this are happening, just protect yourself spiritually and remind yourself that, you know, we're not going to backlash, we're not going to say anything bad about these people because we work with the unconditional love. Now I can understand that a lot of people saying fuck that, you're having it back, do you know what I mean? And sometimes I completely understand that, but the one thing is the best reactions are no reactions. So the reaction is, in essence, well, it's not even a reaction, it's a doing, you know what I mean? For me, it's just a case of cut them off, let them go, bye, see you, yeah, because they get moved forward, yeah. But again, send them unconditional love because they're going to need it, yeah. So again, if that makes sense, possibly a lot of people are like, nah, I need to get my own back. I need to have my say. It doesn't matter if you have your say. What's the point of conjoining into a negative energy? Yeah. Don't forget, people who again create drama will always cry when it rains. And also, to one thing is this. Yeah. We're in you know, this period of time where karma is a bitch. So the one thing is that you don't even have to do anything. All you have to do is just be yourself and carry on in your own natural journey. Yeah. I've learned how to let go with love recently, and it's amazing. That's beautiful. Sorry, someone at the door. Hello. I'll do it in a minute. All right. Thank you, Caitlin. She's a love, isn't she? She's a love. Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying hard not to answer back, not easy. The one thing is that just remind yourself, Christine, obviously within the program, yeah, the thing is that you've put, I'm trying not to answer back. It's not easy. It is easy. If you start to manifest your words and understanding, yeah, that you're learning, then we start to understand that, listen, don't even bother. What's the point of engaging in a negative conversation? Come on here at the right time. Absolutely agree. Thanks, Kay. Absolutely. There's absolutely no point. Let go. Let them go. Yeah. Let them say what they want. Yeah. You move forward. Yeah. Because the one thing is that what, you know, I'm not going to stem too long on this, but obviously you kind of like get the gist, if that makes sense. So because I just want to move a little bit more forward, if that's all right. So again, I also want to talk about indigos, about who have an affinity with animals, and again feel really, really relaxed in natural surroundings. I was talking to a friend yesterday, or was it the day before, I can't remember, and she was talking about how that she was abroad, and obviously she was with the elephants, and she just felt compelled, and this is what I'm saying, what other animal, you know, these poor animals are being brutally tortured, mistreated, and again, even on the earth plane, you know, listen, you know, but again, we feel this about our, you know, our own, you know, our own, if you want to call it race, our other brothers and sisters that are being trafficked, you know, like I say, but I'm not going to go completely back into that, but like I say, you understand obviously the sense of it, that it's really, really upsetting with this, if that makes sense. Yeah, so absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I love your picture of your cat as well there, thank you. So again, have you ever noticed that, and I mean everyone will be like checking their eyes now or something like that, but indigos have a tense deep blue set of eyes or green eyes. So if you've got brown eyes, I'm truly, truly sorry. Maybe you want a refund, I don't know. But again, it's not set in stone, but they say in the eyes that they can be quite either blue or quite deep tense, or again the green eyes. So again, when we're working with, you know, you're understanding these people, it's like, yeah, I'm up to do that. Also, your complexion, you may understand obviously that you will always have light skin no matter what. Your ethnicity. Yes, I have 4 cats and I love watching them. We have 2 dogs. I'm sorry, I do like cats. Yeah, don't get me wrong, and I know obviously in some belief systems they're very spiritual, and I don't wish any harm to any cats whatsoever. Yeah, but sometimes I just don't find them loyal. I'm sorry. It's just the way I am. But it's not that I dismiss cats, and it's not that I dislike them. It's just sometimes I just feel they're a little bit unloyal, because I'll eat anywhere and sleep anywhere. But again, obviously if you've got a house cat, then jobs are good in that obviously you keep there. But we have dogs, but you know, even they can be little buggers too. So listen, It's just one of those things. Okay, here's one that'll cheer you up. How many of you feel that you're aging well? Okay, because these do say on this characteristic of indigos that they will have a tendency to remain youthful. I can't help it. I'm really, really sorry. But again, and look younger. I think it's brilliant. Kind of make me giggle. Do you know what I mean? When you start to do this. One of the last things I want to tell my daughter and her two cats have such a special bond. It's lovely, and I think that's great. I really do. Honestly, I love it. I think it's beautiful. It really is. So Zara, obviously, you feel that obviously you're very youthful, and that's very true because you have good complexion. You've got beautiful blue hair. I think you've still got blue hair on your picture. Yeah, absolutely. So again, absolutely perfect because again, we start to understand obviously about what we are and obviously these characteristics, and again also about being spiritual as well. And I think we've covered quite a lot. I've been told a lot younger than I am, which is great to hear. There you go, you see. And the one thing is when we accept it, our body feel and our physical body and our spiritual body feels great. It's a fantastic vibration. So again, we start to understand that, which is absolutely fantastic. No, thank you. Absolutely. So again, one of the last things I want to talk about during this time is about our sexuality. Excuse me. Okay, sometimes indigos are not necessarily bisexual. Okay, their appearance in the indigo may be quite androgynous. Okay, that's a big fucking word for me, innit? See, I'll have to shut it down. And you feel it, brilliant, Christine. You see, the physical appearance may even balance. Yeah, both them. I still act like a kid just in a weekend camping and hill walking. Oh, brilliant. I'll speak to you about that tomorrow, but where did you go? Where did you go? Claire. But again, this may be, while you're waiting for your comment, so this may be a balance of both the masculine and feminine. So as we live as an indigo adult, we start to feel where we're different. So we start to break the stigmatization. Yeah. Sometimes it can be quite hard. That's what I'm saying. I love working with my divine feminine. Which is absolutely beautiful. That's why I wear odd socks, because I just prove obviously to myself that I'm not perfect. I love wearing my bracelets. I'm quite who I am, and I'm really happy about that. Oh, broad bottom around marble, very nice. If I don't know, I come here. So again, a lot of indigos will, in essence, identify as having a good level of acceptance that has been different from the norm, and to be honest, like I say, they're not really asked about what the people think. But again, we're always kind, and that's the most thing. So if you feel that any of this has resonated with you, that we've discussed tonight, because obviously we've been on for about an hour and 15, and I'm really, really grateful for every single one of you as well. And if you feel that you're an indigo adult, there are many amazing books out there where you can do your research. There's a lot of research on the internet as well that you can look. I understand that obviously there are, they don't do tests, again, obviously, but there are sometimes little quizzes of, do you think you're an indigo on the internet? I would, go on and tick the box and see. But the one thing is, you'll start to understand yourself on a, deeper level. Yeah. Thanks, Lynn. And you may, like I say, if you feel that you're an indigo adult, then please continue to comment. Leave your positive comments at the bottom. They were always truly appreciative of obviously when we do these lives. We're doing the meditation tomorrow night. I can't remember what time. I'm fucking wrong, aren't I? I'm sorry. I think I'm just going to go on the internet now and just see when we... oh shit, I'm still live on that. 8:30 tomorrow. So 8:30 tomorrow, we are doing the deep meditation for relaxation. Okay. So again, it's online. It's not. I'm not charging for it. It's just nice to bring a community together like-minded individuals, indigos, very spiritual people, and some who have never, have never meditated. And it's just nice to go through, start what we used to do, and help. Do you know what? I've just thought, fuck, shit. Do you know what? I'm supposed to be going yoga tomorrow. Oh fuck. Right. Okay. Ooh. Blah, 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 blah. We may put that. Do you know what? I don't think it'd be a bad thing if I just put it up to 20:45. I could just say I was running a bit late, can't I? Yoga finish at 8:30. Should we do it at 9? I think that'd be quite good because I'd be pretty fucking chilled by this time, actually. God, yeah, I just completely forgot. But you see what I mean? Sometimes things go fat quick. I think 9 o'clock would be a quite nice time, actually, because everyone possibly would have put the children to bed and things would be nice and relaxed. Because I'm sorry, I need my yoga. I'm sorry, I need to go to yoga. I need to stretch this physical body. And she puts me through these paces, don't you, Claire? And obviously with downward dog and fucking warrior poses and tree poses and see, I even remembered the name. Yeah, and then obviously, like I say, so right, we'll do it. I've just realised, yeah, because we're at yoga, and thank you, honestly, Jenny, for reminding me, because obviously I would have gone, oh shit, Claire, I'm really sorry, but this has happened. So we'll do it to 9. It'll be the one thing is that even if people can't join, the recording will always be on there, and people can go through it and go through it at their time and their pace. So it's not a bad thing. I really do need my time also, because I have to remind myself that I have to take self-care as well. And if that means that Claire's going to, stretch my body, not personally, because obviously my favourite is corpse pose. Is that where you just lie down? Do you know my favourite time is when at the end when you just fucking lie down and she makes you have to breathe in and you have to tense your body and then release it. It's brilliant. But I'm still so fit and beginner. So listen, hey Rachel, I am a beginner. I've only been going been going over the last couple of weeks, and obviously because Claire was telling me about it. So listen, I'm only a beginner. In fact, I went with Danny. Danny can't come because obviously she's working late till 9. But the one thing is, yeah, she's ace at it. But I was just like, oh, stretching. And in fact, just one thing is, I think she put our legs up like that, and I had a little trump. I thought, oh God, the girl next to me. But luckily it didn't smell. Well, it didn't smell for me anyway. But it's one of those things. So I'm going to change it to 9. So again, I'll put it on the page tomorrow, saying we're going to do it for 9 o'clock. So let everyone know, and obviously you guys will know. So fantastic, yeah, because I definitely need to be there. I think there's a couple of others that are coming with us as well, Claire. So again, yeah, I differentiate. So beginners are welcome, absolutely. So there's a couple coming with us anyway, Claire. So it's brilliant, absolutely. So if anyone wants the thing, yeah, I'd probably shit myself. I did. It was like, say one thing, you put the legs up and you have to. I can't touch my feet. I'm sorry. Do you know what I mean? But like legs are up like that. But it's brilliant. Do you know what I mean? But it's lovely. And I know obviously one of my friends has just gone out and bought a mat as well, so that's ace. Fantastic. Oh, you're in tomorrow? Fucking hell. Told you, my mind's like, oh my God, right, okay. You're in tomorrow, Christine. Yes, you are. Okay, I'm going to say the time, but I'll see you tomorrow, definitely. Brill. I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for joining us. If anyone wants to join us on the event on Tuesday, I know obviously there's a few people that can't, but a lot of people can. We're at the Masonic on Tuesday for 6 p.m. It's going to be an amazing evening, and again, you don't have to buy a ticket online. You can pay at the door, and there's loads of stalls as well. I'll throw that in there as well. Why not a little bit of PR? Brilliant. Well, you've got a mat, and that's the most important thing. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for putting up with me. It's been a laugh. It's been enlightening, and hopefully you took a lot of information in, and I'm always grateful. See you Tuesday, Sarah, absolutely, because you're doing your aromatherapy candles, which is absolutely fantastic. Sarah Shorten is Bohemian Alistics. She does a great stall as well, and the candles are to die for. So again, obviously, if you want some of them, especially for Father's Day, Yeah, love and light, absolutely, definitely. See you Tuesday. A lot of people coming on Tuesday. It's going to be an amazing evening. Can't wait to see you all, and obviously talk about what we do with the law of attraction. Love, health, and money. Bring me the money, absolutely. Okay, see you all then. I'm going to go. Really enjoyed your live. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow night at 9. And again, from my heart chakra to your heart chakra, send you all beautiful unconditional love, and may Archangel Michael and the beautiful realm of celestial angels keep you safe tonight in your sleep and keep you all protected. Don't forget to be grateful, because that's the most important. And most importantly, don't forget, stay lit. Yeah, always keep shining your vibe. Bye for now.